If this message reached you tonight, it's not a coincidence, it's a sign, because there comes a moment when heaven interrupts your routine to tell you, I'm about to break the financial delay that has been holding your life still. And tonight, that moment is here. You may not see the shift yet. You may not understand what has been happening in the unseen. But in the spiritual realm, something has already started moving on your behalf. Doors that stayed closed for years, opportunities that were blocked at the last minute, resources that slipped through your fingers, efforts that produced less than expected, seasons of working hard with little return, cycles of almost making it but not fully breaking through. All of this begins to change tonight under the authority of Psalm 112. Because Psalm 112 is not a gentle blessing, it is a decree, a spiritual document, a legal announcement from heaven declaring, wealth and riches shall be in your house. This is not poetic language. This is divine legislation. And tonight, heaven enforces it. Listen closely. For a long time, you have lived with a sense of restriction, not only financially, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Something has been slowing you down. Something has been creating resistance. Something has been draining your strength. Something has been interrupting your progress. And even though you are gifted, even though you are capable, even though you work hard, even though you push forward, the results have not matched your effort. This is the signature of financial delay, a spiritual resistance that sits on top of your hands, blocking what God intended to flow easily. But tonight, God lifts every form of financial delay off your life. Tonight, God touches your hands. Tonight, heaven activates overflow over everything connected to your name. Psalm 112 releases a very specific promise. Prosperity does not come from the earth. It comes from heaven. And when heaven decides to release abundance, nothing on earth can block it. This is why the enemy tried so hard to resist you financially. Because once your hands prosper, everything connected to your destiny accelerates. You become stable, you become generous, you become aligned, you become activated, you become unstoppable. The enemy fears believers with resources, not because of money alone, but because provision fuels purpose. Now listen with your spirit. There are financial blessings that were supposed to reach you years ago, promotions that didn't happen, contracts that vanished, ideas that never took off, seeds that were planted but produced little fruit, opportunities that should have multiplied but ended abruptly. Some of these delays were natural, but many were spiritual. But tonight, Psalm 112 is breaking through that barrier. God is canceling what resisted you. God is reversing what stagnated you. God is restoring what drained you. God is multiplying what remained small. God is strengthening what felt unstable. God is lighting the path that looked blocked, because Psalm 112 does not promise only prosperity. It promises established prosperity. Prosperity that lasts. Prosperity that multiplies. Prosperity that reaches your house, your hands, your generations. Not unstable blessing. Not short-term blessing, not temporary provision, but overflow. Overflow that touches your work. Overflow that touches your ideas. Overflow that touches your relationships. Overflow that touches your finances. Overflow that touches everything connected to your life. Now breathe deeply, because you're about to release a prophetic shift. Every time heaven prepares to accelerate your life, things begin to feel uncomfortable. You start to notice pressure. You start to feel emotional swings. You begin to sense resistance. You face unexpected difficulties. You see strange delays. But this is not a sign of defeat. It's a sign that the breakthrough is close. The enemy always fights hardest before overflow appears. And tonight, heaven confronts that resistance with power. Psalm 112 declares, "The righteous will never be shaken." This means financial storms may come, but they won't destroy you. Delays may appear, but they won't define you. Obstacles may rise, but they won't stop you. Enemies may speak, but they won't silence you. Lack may threaten, but it will not stay. Your life is stepping into a new rhythm, the rhythm of divine provision. A rhythm where blessings reach you without struggle. A rhythm where ideas that were stuck begin to flow. A rhythm where resources find you. A rhythm where solutions appear. A rhythm where unexpected doors open. A rhythm where God multiplies what you touch. This is overflow, not by chance, by decree. Tonight, God places his hand over your hands that worked, your hands that tried, your hands that built, your hands that carried pressure, your hands that sowed seeds in tears, your hands that carried responsibilities beyond your strength. These hands, your hands, are blessed tonight. Declare this: my hands will prosper. Again, everything I touch will be blessed. Let this declaration sink in. Your hands are no longer under spiritual delay. Your hands are no longer under financial resistance. Your hands are no longer under pressure. Your hands carry heaven's favor. And when heaven favors your hands, the earth cannot stop your harvest. Now declare, overflow comes to my life. Say it again. Overflow reaches my hands today. This is not wishful thinking. This is Psalm 112 becoming reality over you. And now, seal this moment by declaring in the comments, God cancels financial delay from my life. Let this be your decree. Let this be your agreement with heaven. Let this be your announcement to the spiritual world. Because tonight, financial delay breaks and overflow begins. I receive the light of God today. If this spoke to you even a little, don't just scroll. Stay with me for one more step. Drop a "God cancels financial delay from my life" in the comments right now, so heaven sees your agreement. And hey, don't leave this atmosphere. Hit subscribe, tap like, and share this with one person who needs breakthrough tonight. You're not just engaging, you're stepping into the overflow God already started. And when you finish here, go watch the next video I'm recommending. It's the continuation of what God is releasing over you tonight. Let's walk in this together. Breathe in tonight. We step into the spiritual dimension where financial delay is broken. Not by effort alone, not by strategy alone, not by opportunity alone, but by divine intervention. Because Psalm 112 is not just a scripture, it is a heaven-authorized decree that activates supernatural provision over those who fear the Lord and walk in righteousness. And you need to hear this clearly. Financial breakthrough is not simply about money, it is about freedom. Freedom to breathe, freedom to build, freedom to rest, freedom to walk in purpose without fear, freedom to sow generously, freedom to bless freely, freedom to stop surviving and finally start living. And tonight, that freedom begins. But before overflow comes, something else must happen. Heaven must burn the spiritual resistance sitting over your hands. You have worked hard, harder than most people realize. You've pushed through exhaustion. You've sacrificed. You've given when you had little. You've tried to expand, you've prayed for wisdom, you've taken steps of courage, and yet something blocked the full return. This is the sign of financial warfare, a battle not against people, not against circumstances, but against invisible resistance that sits like a cloud over your productivity and progress. Tonight, that cloud burns. Declare this: Lord, burn every spiritual resistance blocking my financial growth. Again, let every invisible barrier over my hands be destroyed, because your hands are not average. Your hands carry destiny, your hands carry calling, your hands carry ideas, gifting, influence, and generational purpose. And when hands like yours are delayed, families suffer, dreams pause, purpose slows. But tonight your hands are set free. Now imagine this spiritually. You stretch out your hands before heaven, and they look tired, heavy, burdened by years of pressure. But then a radiant golden fire descends from above and rests gently on your palms. It does not burn you, it purifies you. It removes spiritual weight. It breaks invisible chains. It burns delay. It releases strength. It awakens dormant potential. It revives everything your hands were created to build. This is Psalm 112 in action, God blessing the work of the righteous. Declare, my hands are blessed and empowered by God. Again, everything that flows through my hands will prosper. Let that truth sink deep, because your hands are no longer ordinary. Tonight, God marks them with favor, speed, and fruitfulness. Now we deal with one of the most overlooked spiritual battles: financial shadows, emotional and energetic pressure that follows you even when things look stable on the outside. Shadows like fear of not having enough, anxiety about the future, tension every time money is mentioned, guilt around spending, panic around giving, self-doubt around goals, difficulty celebrating wins, expecting something to go wrong. These shadows are not from God. They are leftovers of battles you never deserved to fight. But tonight, the light of God burns every shadow. Declare, no financial shadow has authority over me. Again, I walk in clarity, confidence, and peace. Feel how the tension begins to loosen. Feel how your spirit begins to breathe. Feel how your heart begins to steady. Because when heaven cancels delay, it also cancels fear. Now listen carefully. There were blessings meant for you, contracts, opportunities, clients, ideas, connections, solutions that were spiritually held back, not denied, not removed, not cancelled, just held. They were waiting for the spiritual resistance to break. And tonight, that resistance breaks. Declare, every blessing with my name on it is released now. Again, stronger. What was held back is coming to me without delay. Psalm 112 says, good things will come to the righteous. Not might come, not hopefully come, not eventually come, will come. Your blessing does not need permission from people. Your increase does not need the approval of circumstances. Your overflow does not depend on the economy. It depends on heaven. And heaven just opened the gates. Now imagine a large, ancient gate in the spiritual realm, heavy, sealed, unmoved for years. This gate represents financial flow, creativity, wisdom, stability, wealth, open doors, and generational prosperity. For a long time, this gate resisted. But now, under the decree of Psalm 112, you hear it begin to shake, crack, shift, until finally, it swings open. Behind it, you see divine provision, new ideas, unexpected opportunities, restored connections, reactivated purpose, and supernatural favor waiting to enter your life. Declare, my financial gates are open. Again, what belongs to me flows freely into my life. This is overflow, not random, not unpredictable, not fragile, but established by God Himself. Now we address something powerful: financial identity. If the enemy cannot block your resources, he will try to block your mindset. He whispers, you'll always struggle. You don't deserve abundance. You're always behind. Your work doesn't matter. You're not capable. This is the best you'll ever have. All lies, because Psalm 112 calls you righteous, stable, favored, blessed, unshakable, fruitful, prosperous, established. Now declare, my financial identity is aligned with heaven. Again, I am called to prosper for the glory of God. When identity changes, results follow. Finally, we seal this moment with prophetic decrees. Not wishes, not hopes, but spiritual laws spoken over your destiny. My hands are blessed. My path is open. My future is stable. My resources multiply. My ideas prosper. My steps accelerate. My home receives abundance. My mind carries peace. My work is fruitful. My purpose is funded. Nothing blocks my overflow. Heaven cancels delay from my life. Today marks a new season. Let this truth enter every part of your being. Tonight is not symbolic. Tonight is supernatural. Financial delay ends. Overflow begins. Your destiny rises. Your hands prosper. This is the power of Psalm 112 speaking over you. I receive the light of God today. Tonight, as we step deeper into Psalm 112, you're going to feel something unmistakable. The pressure that once sat over your finances begins to lift. Not gradually, not over months, not one day in the future, but now, as the word begins to work inside you and around you. Because Psalm 112 carries a prophetic pattern. Break the delay, heal the heart, establish the identity, open the gates, release overflow, protect the blessing, and today, heaven walks you through these stages one by one. Let's begin with divine reversal. Every plan of the enemy against your finances, every spiritual blockade, every invisible limitation, every assignment of lack, now faces the judgment of God. There are some things that happened in your financial life that looked natural, but they were not. Opportunities vanished mysteriously. Work that should have flourished collapsed unexpectedly. Money that should have multiplied disappeared without explanation. Decisions that seemed right fell apart at the last moment. People who promised to help suddenly backed away. Ideas that felt inspired lost momentum. These were not coincidences. They were spiritual interruptions. But tonight, reversal begins. Declare, what was taken from me returns multiplied. Again, what was blocked is released into my life. This is not wishful thinking. This is divine justice. Because when heaven steps into financial warfare, the result is always reversal. Now we deal with something deeper, financial wounds. Financial battles don't just affect your bank account, they affect your emotions, they affect your mind, they affect your confidence, they affect your self-worth, they affect your sense of stability, they affect your relationship with opportunity, they affect the way you make decisions. You carry financial wounds from disappointments, losses, betrayals, unexpected crises, seasons of scarcity, times you felt unprepared, moments you felt ashamed, experiences where you felt abandoned, dreams that didn't work out, failures that left emotional scars. These wounds create anxiety around money, fear of taking steps, hesitation when opportunities appear, lack of confidence, self-blame, a constant sense of insecurity, internal panic even when things are stable. But tonight, God heals financial trauma. Declare, Lord, heal every financial wound in my heart. Again, restore my confidence, my courage, and my peace. As you speak, something inside you softens, your chest feels lighter, your breathing calms, your spirit begins to settle. This is not psychological, it is spiritual. Psalm 112 releases stability, and stability begins with inner healing. Now we move into financial identity, the way you see yourself in relation to money, stewardship, and blessing. Many people carry a broken financial identity because of years of pressure. They begin to believe, I will always struggle. I will always be behind. I never get ahead. I don't deserve abundance. Things never work for me. I'm not capable of prospering. These lies grow roots. They become part of how you expect life to unfold, and they create self-fulfilling patterns. But tonight, heaven rewrites your financial identity. Psalm 112 calls you righteous, stable, favored, blessed, established, unmoved, overflowing. Declare, my financial identity comes from God, not from my past. Again, I am chosen to prosper, not struggle. Your spirit is recalibrating. You are stepping into a mindset that aligns with heaven, because what God has for you, you must begin to expect, not doubt. Now imagine something. You are standing in a room with empty shelves. These shelves represent areas of your life where there has been lack, areas where you prayed but didn't see results, areas where you believed but nothing happened, areas where you hoped but felt disappointed. Suddenly a bright light enters the room, and one by one the shelves begin to fill, not by your hands, but by heaven's supply. Ideas appear, resources appear, Opportunities appear, relationships appear, solutions appear, open doors appear. This is overflow. This is Psalm 112 manifested. Overflow is not random. Overflow is not accidental. Overflow is not rare. Overflow is God's answer to years of delay. Declare, my shelves are being filled by God. Again, what was empty is now overflowing. Feel the shift. Something opens in your chest. Something expands in your faith. Something awakens in your spirit. This is the moment where God changes the atmosphere of your life. Now we confront financial fear. The fear of losing what you gain, the fear of instability, the fear of repeating past patterns, the fear of unexpected crisis, the fear of stepping into something greater. Fear is one of the strongest tools the enemy uses to block prosperity. Fear makes you shrink. Fear makes you hesitate. Fear makes you sabotage your own growth. Fear makes you settle for less. But tonight, fear loses its grip. Declare, I will not fear money, lack, or growth. Again, I move in faith, not fear. Your spirit is expanding. Your decisions will feel lighter. Your steps will feel clearer. Your relationship with opportunity will change forever. Now it's time for financial activation. Psalm 112 promises wealth, riches, stability, unshakable blessing, light in the darkness, generosity, favor, good news, honor, abundance for future generations. This is not metaphorical, it is literal. And today, heaven activates these promises over you. Declare, wealth flows to my hands, riches enter my house, blessings surround my life. Good news is on its way. My future is financially secure. My generations will prosper through my obedience. These are not empty affirmations. They are legal declarations in the spiritual realm. Your words unlock what darkness tried to hide from you. Now imagine this final scene. A river of golden light flows from heaven. It moves slowly at first, then faster, then stronger, until it surrounds you completely. This river represents divine provision, ideas, favor, opportunities, partnerships, supernatural strategies, divine timing, unexpected open doors. You place your hands into the river and instantly your hands glow. Everything you touch from now on carries favor. Everything you build carries blessing. Everything you plant multiplies. Everything connected to your name receives divine increase. Declare, my hands activate overflow. Again, heaven flows through my life. This is the turning point. From this moment forward, you will not think the same. You will not act the same. You will not expect the same. You will not receive the same. Overflow now has permission to enter your life, continuously, freely, and abundantly. I receive the light of God today. Tonight, we go even deeper into what Psalm 112 unlocks over your life. Not just prosperity, but stability, strength, and abundance that cannot be shaken. Because God doesn't want to give you a blessing that fades. He wants to build a foundation that lasts. For years, you've lived inside financial cycles you didn't choose. Moments of progress followed by sudden loss. Breakthrough moments followed by unexpected delay. Seasons of growth suddenly interrupted. Opportunities rising and then collapsing. Doors opening and then mysteriously closing. Money flowing in but leaving just as fast. Ideas full of potential losing momentum before they could grow. These are not natural patterns, they are spiritual patterns. Patterns rooted in generational issues, emotional wounds, fear, past instability, spiritual resistance, internal guilt or shame, past financial trauma, word curses spoken over your ability to prosper, invisible pressure that sits on your hands, experiences that made you feel unworthy of abundance. But tonight, God shatters every pattern that held you back. Declare this: every financial pattern that limits my life breaks tonight. Again, I am no longer tied to cycles of lack. Let the weight of those words sink in, because you are stepping out of repetition and into renewal. Now we confront generational patterns. There are families where scarcity passes from one generation to the next, like a silent inheritance. People work hard, but never break through. Ideas appear, but never stabilize. Progress shows up, but never lasts. Blessing comes, but always in small doses. Financial storms return again and again. These patterns become familiar, but familiar does not mean God ordained. And tonight, heaven cuts what was never meant to follow you. Declare, I break every generational financial limitation off my life. Again, my lineage steps into abundance through me. Because someone in the bloodline must be the first to rise, and God chose you. You are the breaker, the one who ends the cycle, the one who shifts the atmosphere, the one who sets a new standard for generations to come. Now imagine this. A long chain stretches behind you, each link representing years of financial frustration, patterns repeated by parents, grandparents, and those before them. Tonight, under the fire of Psalm 112, the chain snaps. Not quietly, but violently, completely, finally. This is the moment where God reclaims your lineage. Declare, the chain is broken, the cycle is over. My generation begins abundance. Now we shift from breaking to establishing, because deliverance without establishment creates vulnerability. You are not just coming out of lack, you are entering divine order. Psalm 112 says, the righteous will never be shaken. That means your finances stabilize, your opportunities stabilize, your emotions stabilize, your mindset stabilizes. Your work stabilizes, your ideas stabilize, your progress stabilizes, your future stabilizes. Nothing sporadic, nothing unstable, nothing fragile, nothing temporary. What God gives you now will last. Declare, my finances are stable and unshakable. Again, what God builds in my life cannot be destroyed. Now we step into opportunity alignment. There were moments in your life where good opportunities came at the wrong time, or the right opportunity came when you were unprepared, or the wrong door appeared disguised as the right one, or the right door opened, but something blocked the path. But no more. Psalm 112 releases divine timing, and timing is everything. Declare, my opportunities align perfectly with heaven's timing. Again, I step into divine alignment in every area of my financial life. Feel the shift. Your spirit is synchronizing with heaven. Because when timing aligns, everything accelerates. Now imagine standing in front of a massive clock in the spiritual realm. The gears were stuck for years, slow, jammed, out of sync. But suddenly, the gears begin to turn. One click, then another, until the entire mechanism moves smoothly, beautifully, powerfully. This is what's happening inside your destiny. Things that were delayed are now accelerating. Declare, what was stuck begins to move. What was slow begins to accelerate. What was delayed is now aligned. Now, we confront financial intimidation, a subtle but powerful spiritual influence. Intimidation sounds like, what if it fails again? What if the opportunity isn't real? What if I can't handle abundance? What if I'm not prepared? What if something goes wrong? What if I lose it all again? These thoughts are not your voice. They are spiritual interference designed to shrink your potential. But tonight, intimidation breaks. Declare, I refuse to fear abundance. Again, I am prepared for growth, elevation, and increase. Your spirit is expanding. Your mindset is rising. Your capacity is increasing. This is what happens when God switches you from survival mode to overflow mode. Now we activate the blessing of open hands. In Scripture, open hands symbolize readiness, generosity, receptivity, ability to receive, authority to give, freedom, capacity, flow. Closed hands cannot receive. Closed hands cannot sow. Closed hands cannot grow. But tonight, your hands open spiritually, emotionally, financially. Declare, my hands are open to receive heaven's abundance. Again, my capacity to prosper is expanding. This is not your imagination. Your spirit is widening, your expectations are enlarging, your perspective is transforming. Now let us seal everything with decrees of establishment, so that nothing can steal what God is releasing tonight. No pattern of lack will revisit me. No spiritual resistance will block me. No generational limitation will follow me. No fear will weaken me. No attack will shake me. I rise in financial stability. I rise in divine timing. I rise in overflow. I rise in abundance. I rise in purpose. My home is blessed. My work is blessed. My ideas are blessed. My hands are blessed. My future is established. My seasons are aligned with heaven. Let these words echo in your spirit, firm, unwavering, unstoppable, because tonight you are not just praying for financial change, you are becoming the change. You are stepping into a life where abundance is not a moment but a lifestyle, where overflow is not rare but normal, where stability is not temporary but established, where blessing is not small but generational. This is the reality Psalm 112 unlocks for you. I receive the light of God today. Quando quiser continuar, bloco 5. Você disse, bloco 5. O chat GPT disse, aqui está o bloco 5. Chat, profundo, profético, poderoso, com cerca de 1.200 palavras, no exato padrão, guided by Psalms. Ativação de riqueza espiritual e material. Destruição final de limitações internas. Multiplicação profética, estabelecimento de abundância contínua, final obrigatório. I receive the light of God today. Mankunde tonight, as we step deeper into Psalm 112, you enter a dimension where abundance is not an event. It is a flow, not something that comes and goes, not something that fades with circumstances, not something that depends on people, but a spiritual current of increase that surrounds your life permanently. Because Psalm 112 does not say, wealth will visit occasionally. It says, wealth and riches shall be in his house. Shall be, not might be, not could be, not maybe someday, shall be as in established, rooted, secured, maintained, protected, multiplied. Tonight, God begins to establish this reality around you. Let us begin with the breaking of inner ceilings. An inner ceiling is a subconscious barrier created by past failures, financial trauma, childhood scarcity, emotional wounds, fear of instability, spiritual pressure, negative words from others, guilt over wanting more, the belief that you don't deserve abundance. These ceilings sit above your potential, limiting what you believe is possible. But tonight, heaven shatters every inner ceiling that held your life down. Declare, I break every inner ceiling that limits my capacity to prosper. Again, my spirit expands to receive more, because God cannot pour overflow into a spirit that believes it must stay small. And tonight, you are no longer small. Your faith is growing, your confidence is growing, your capacity is growing. Your spiritual authority is growing. Your ability to receive is growing. Your identity is growing. God is making room inside you for what he wants to place around you. Now we enter the realm of divine multiplication. Multiplication is not addition. Addition is natural. Multiplication is supernatural. Addition requires your effort. Multiplication requires God's hand. Addition depends on time. Multiplication depends on grace, and tonight God moves your life from addition to multiplication. Declare, what I sow multiplies, what I touch multiplies, what I build multiplies, what I imagine multiplies, what I start multiplies, what I steward multiplies. Multiplication means you accomplish in months what others take years to do. It means doors open that have no explanation. It means opportunities appear far beyond your qualifications. It means results show up faster than your effort. It means favor accelerates what your hands begin. This is the signature of Psalm 112, a blessing that multiplies. Now we confront financial intimidation from the past, because the enemy often tries to use old stories to limit new seasons. Intimidation whispers, remember last time you tried. What if it goes wrong again? What if you lose everything again? What if this blessing is temporary? What if it doesn't last? What if you're not ready? These are not thoughts from God. They are echoes from old battles, battles that no longer have authority over you. Tonight, these echoes fall silent. Declare, my future is not defined by my past. I'm not entering this season with fear, but with strength. Because God does not ask you to revisit old fears. He asks you to step into new faith. And tonight, your faith rises above every intimidation. Now, we activate the favor of God, one of the greatest financial gifts heaven can release. Favor does what work alone cannot do. Favor places your name in rooms you've never entered. Favor turns hearts toward you. Favor opens doors no one can shut. Favor brings opportunities without explanation. Favor accelerates timing. Favor makes people want to bless you. Favor positions you ahead of schedule. And Psalm 112 promises this favor to those who walk upright. Declare, favor goes before me. Favor surrounds me. Favor rests on my hands and my work. Favor opens doors for me that no one can close. Feel this, a weight lifting, a clarity rising, a confidence awakening, because you are stepping into a season where favor becomes normal. Now God wants to address something powerful, the fear of stability. Many people subconsciously fear abundance because they have never experienced true stability. Temporary blessing they understand, small breakthroughs they can handle, moments of relief they are used to. But consistent prosperity, long-term financial peace, overflow that doesn't disappear, these things feel unfamiliar, and unfamiliar can feel frightening. But tonight, God prepares your spirit for stability. Declare, I am not afraid of financial peace. I am ready for consistent overflow. Consistency is coming to your finances. Stability is being established. Your life is being prepared for abundance that remains. Now imagine something. Before you, a large field stretches across the horizon, dry, hard, empty. This field represents areas of your life where you've worked without seeing results, where you've planted seeds with tears, where you've waited longer than you ever expected, where you've invested without a harvest. But in the distance, you see clouds gathering, heavy clouds, bright clouds, golden clouds. Suddenly rain begins to fall. Not normal rain, rain that shines like liquid light. The field begins to soften, the soil warms. The seeds buried long ago begin to open, roots begin to grow, shoots begin to rise, life begins to multiply. This is God watering every seed you ever planted. Declare, my seeds are coming to life. My harvest is rising now, because nothing you planted in faith was wasted. Nothing you gave in obedience was ignored. Nothing you sacrificed in silence was forgotten. God is bringing harvest to every seed. Now let us establish financial protection, because overflow requires shielding. Psalm 112 promises, He will not be afraid of bad news. That means your abundance is protected. Your increase cannot be stolen. Your resources cannot be drained. Your progress cannot be sabotaged. Your stability cannot be shaken. Declare, God protects my provision. No loss can touch what heaven releases to me. No attack can shake my financial foundation. This is not temporary security. This is prophetic protection. Now seal everything with these declarations. I rise with abundance. I walk in multiplication. I carry divine favor. I step into stability. I break every inner ceiling. I receive generational blessing. My hands prosper, my home prospers, my ideas prosper, my future prospers, overflow follows me, increase surrounds me, financial peace settles on my life. I step into a permanent season of abundance. Let this truth take root. Let it rewrite your expectations. Let it replace years of struggle with divine assurance. You are stepping out of survival and into supernatural overflow. This is Psalm 112 alive inside you. I receive the light of God today. Now that God has broken delay, shattered cycles, destroyed inner ceilings, activated multiplication, and established favor over your life, it's time to step into something even greater, a new financial identity, a new spiritual posture, a new season of stability and overflow. Because breakthrough is not complete until your mindset, expectation, spirit, and daily direction rise to match what heaven is releasing. And tonight, Psalm 112 becomes more than a promise. It becomes your new foundation. Take a moment and feel your spirit right now. Notice how the heaviness that once sat on your chest is gone. Notice how the tension around your finances has loosened. Notice how the fear surrounding the future has quieted. Notice how your thoughts feel clearer, lighter, stronger. Notice how your faith feels uplifted. Notice how your spirit feels aligned. Because this prayer didn't just break delay, it broke spiritual gravity. Everything that once pulled you down, fear, doubt, setbacks, instability, confusion, has lost its strength. Now you rise differently. Now you think differently. Now you expect differently. Now you receive differently. This is what freedom feels like. But here is the part many people miss. Freedom is not the end. Freedom is the starting point. Because God didn't remove delay just so you could breathe. He removed delay so you could build. He removed resistance so you could expand. He removed pressure so you could focus. He removed fear so you could walk boldly. He removed instability so you could rise consistently. He removed scarcity so you could live generously. He removed blockages so you could step into purpose. Everything God broke tonight is making room for everything He is about to release. Declare, my life is ready for abundance. Again, my spirit is aligned with overflow. Let the word settle. This is spiritual positioning. Now I want you to reflect on something. Every difficult season you survived, every loss you endured, every delay you faced, every moment where you almost gave up, every time you wondered if things would ever change. Those moments were not wasted. They strengthened you, they trained you, they developed resilience in you, they refined your discernment. They sharpened your faith, they increased your dependence on God. They prepared your character for the elevation ahead. Overflow without maturity destroys people, but overflow with maturity builds empires, families, assignments, and generations. You are not receiving abundance as someone unprepared. You are receiving it as someone trained by fire. Declare, I am prepared for the abundance God is releasing. Again, my character and calling can carry prosperity. This is stability speaking. This is authority rising. This is Psalm 112 taking root inside you. Now let's talk about destiny, because the enemy did not attack your finances randomly. He attacked them because your financial stability is connected to your divine assignment. Your purpose requires peace of mind, clarity, stability, time, resources, opportunities, wisdom, influence, generosity. The enemy fears financially stable believers because they fund the kingdom, they support others, they rise in influence, they break generational chains, they walk boldly, they are harder to shake, they accelerate spiritual purpose. So every financial setback you lived through, every delay, every attack, every unexpected crisis was meant to slow down your assignment. But tonight, God strengthens what the enemy tried to weaken. Declare, my purpose is funded by heaven. Again, my destiny is unstoppable. Feel that power. When destiny aligns, resources follow. Now imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast river, wide, glowing, flowing with golden light. This river represents the abundance God prepared for you. For years, this river was blocked by fear, delay, guilt, inner ceilings, spiritual resistance, patterns of lack, generational influences, misalignment, anxiety, intimidation. But now, the dam is broken. The waters begin to move. Slowly at first, then stronger, then faster, until the flow becomes unstoppable. This is overflow, not a drop, not a trickle, not a moment, a flow. Declare, the river of heaven flows into my life. Again, what God releases cannot be stopped. This is spiritual hydration, the watering of dry places, the filling of empty spaces, the renewing of barren areas. Where there was drought, there will now be harvest. Where there was pressure, there will now be peace. Where there was delay, there will now be acceleration. Where there was scarcity, there will now be abundance. Where there was fear, there will now be confidence. Where there was instability, there will now be strength. Now we seal all this with identity activation, because the blessing means nothing if you still see yourself as someone who struggles. From tonight forward, see yourself as stable, blessed, favored, trusted by heaven, financially anointed, spiritually grounded, emotionally anchored, purpose-driven, overflow carrying, legacy building, unshakable. Say it, I am walking in abundance. Again, I am the one God chose to break financial limitations in my family, because someone always rises first, and tonight, that someone is you. Your family tree shifts tonight. Your future shifts tonight. Your internal narrative shifts tonight. Your spiritual capacity shifts tonight. You are stepping into a version of yourself that lacks nothing internally, and because of that, you will lack nothing externally. Now we seal everything with final prophetic decrees. My days of financial delay are over. My hands are blessed. My steps are guided. My home is prosperous. My ideas carry favor. My work multiplies. My purpose is funded. My harvest is protected. My emotions are steady. My spirit is strong. My future is abundant. I walk in overflow. I stand in overflow. I live in overflow. Let these words become your new reality. Not future, not symbolic, but now. Because tonight was not just prayer, it was transition. You are crossing into a life that looks nothing like the seasons you survived. Overflow is not coming. Overflow is here. I receive the light of God today.